Welcome back. Well, of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa set to launch their job summit in just about an hour's time, of course, set to tackle the country's high unemployment rate, which has, of course, reached around 26 or 27%. The two-day summit, convened by the National Economic Development and Labour Council, NEDLAC, taking place at the Gallagher Convention Centre in Midrand. High-impact interventions to drive job creation, job retention and economic growth will be the focus of the much-anticipated event, which was announced by President Ramaphosa during the State of the Nation address. For more now, we cross to our anchor, Nompumelelo Siziba, who is at the summit. Good afternoon, Nompumelelo. Again, the sentiment, as you said a little bit earlier, a little bit mixed, but clearly a lot more people set to attend and give a clearer picture for what can be achieved for South Africa.
Thanks very much, Arabile. Yes, well, the car park is pretty full. I'm sure attendance is going to be quite significant with people bulging at the seams. What's happened, of course, is that because the speech is only, or the launch is only starting at 2 o'clock, people are seeping in slowly, going through the registration process. But we are seeing that the main hall where the speech is going to be taking place is beginning to fill up. There does seem to be a bit more presence going on. As you say, you know, there is a mixed sentiment, but I'm sure for the people that have come here, decided to come here, they're very hopeful about what will come out of this job summit. As I mentioned in our previous discussion, what's been happening is that in the lead up to this particular summit, there have been workings that have been going on between all the various NEDLAC players, that is business labour, the civil society, and of course the private sector, all working together to basically look at areas, sector-specific areas where there can be potential growth areas in terms of jobs. I know agriculture is one of the areas that have been flagged up, and of course the health sector as well. We know that we don't have enough nurses and doctors in the healthcare system, so they're going to be looking at those type of scenarios.
Yeah,
sorry, pardon me, I can hear something in my ear, but I'll just continue to say that there is a high anticipation here. Arabile?
Yeah, just apologies for that, Nompumelelo, but continuing with that discussion, of course, the minister as well expected to perhaps speak to us before the summit, and a lot of expectation coming through as well from not just the unions, but clearly, as you said, business as well, to really show a method of trying to make sure that the collaborative effort between all three stakeholders, government, business and labour, is of course set for. Do you see that collaboration coming to the fore here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is a collaborative effort, and quite frankly, our problems in society, in South Africa, are so huge in terms of our unemployment problem. I mean, the stats are quite concerning. There are our unemployment rate is 37%. That's when you include what we call discouraged workers. Those are people who have once been looking for jobs, but they have decided to just stop looking for jobs. There are more adults who are unemployed than there are adults who are employed. That's how serious our situation is. And because of that, we have a very high tax burden on those people who are actually working, and it's proving to be unsustainable. And one of the problems that National Treasury faces is where can they tax people? We already have quite a high marginal tax rate of about 45%. So you do need more people coming into the frame. And of course, because of that backdrop and the calamity that is caused by this huge scourge of unemployment, this is why this collaborative effort is so important. But of course, as I mentioned to you earlier, Arabile, it's not just this meeting and those efforts around specific sectors that needs to happen. We need economic growth. The Centre for Development and Enterprise also says that we need to look at maybe creating jobs that cater for low-skilled people, because we know that our education system has not done our people that well, and a lot of work still needs to be done in that regard. So we can't talk about high-fly sectors and completely forget about people who won't be able to get those jobs. So there's an effort, I think, also to look at the low-skill area. How can you create jobs there? Also, the mining sector is also going to be here, and they seem to be more optimistic now that the mining charter has been revised. They're saying that there seems to be much more policy certainty, and they believe that investment in the country is possible. We know that the mining sector is one of the major culprits for a lot of job losses, but you know, step by step, you never know, in a few years' time we might actually see some job growth in that sector if indeed we begin to see investment in the sector. Arabile, soon, I hope, I will be speaking to the Labour Minister. She is around and she's promised that she'll give us a brief interview. So hopefully when she does become available, we'll have a chat to her. Obviously, she's quite instrumental in this. She's the Minister of Labour. And of course, at the top of the hour at 2 o'clock, President Cyril Ramaphosa is of course scheduled to inaugurate this meeting, which ends tomorrow at around 2:30. Arabile.
Nompumelelo Siziba out at the Gallagher Convention Centre there. The job summit starting in earnest in around an hour and 10, well, just about 50 minutes, should I say. So we'll keep track of that across the bulletin.